when something is a culture-bound syndrome, is it your opinion that it's not real?
No, it's absolutely real. And I think in the West, we are actually sensitive to these definitions of madness around the body. And what it means is then we attribute our problems to our bodies. Now, it's not that we're saying those problems are actually not real and that the hormonal changes are not real, but I would say that it's an interaction between the two. We don't need to split the mind and the body here. And so those 5% of women, and I very much agree for those 5% of women, there's really clear evidence that the extreme end of the continuum with premenstrual distress is a small proportion of the population. We do need to take those women's issues seriously, and we do need to offer them support.
Jane, I just want to thank you so much for being with us today. And before we break, let's just kind of talk a little bit to bring this all together in terms of, we've been talking about symptoms, premenstrual syndrome, PMDD, just to clarify for everyone.
Absolutely. I think that we should think about it in terms of a spectrum. So most women probably do experience from time to time symptoms that are under the PMS umbrella, right? The bloating, maybe the occasional acne, maybe the irritability, but maybe not in a way that really debilitates them. And so for those women, let's not use that PMS time as this is the reason why all of these problems are happening, because perhaps it's not even that distressing, and you should be empowered to feel like there's other ways to solve those problems. Now, moving along that dimension though, people who have PMS, they have a syndrome, they have a collection of symptoms that actually do feel distressing to them and impairs their functioning. So maybe there are more directed treatments for that with your OB-GYN or perhaps with your psychologist. And then on the extreme side of that spectrum is the people with PMDD. And I do believe that those individuals are very, very highly distressed. There are very special, specific characteristics on how to diagnose that. And not everybody fits under that umbrella that might experience PMS. And people with PMDD, they usually need more intense interventions to be able to manage that on a day-to-day basis.
And Dr. Sodhi, what's the best way when dealing with your obstetrician gynecologist to kind of meander your way through this so that you can get, you know, the right diagnosis if there is one, and the right treatment if you do indeed have PMS, the syndrome, or PMDD?
Well, I think it's important that if you can see yourself in everything we're talking about, and you anticipate your period and it brings you anxiety because it brings you distress, that you start by keeping a daily journal, just logging your symptoms on a day-to-day basis, and try to coordinate that with a logging of your menstrual cycle. And if you can do that over 1 to 3 months and you feel like there's an association, then I would take all of that information with you when you go see the gynecologist so that they can further evaluate where you fit on the spectrum and what treatment you may need.
I love that tip because it's all about prospective ratings as opposed to retrospective ratings. And that's part of the problem in the first place, that people look back and they say, oh, these are really huge symptoms that I had around the time of my period. But when you keep a daily log, you're logging it prospectively as you go along, and that's where you get the best data.
The association with the period is important too, because it's found that up to 40% of women who present with symptoms of PMDD actually have underlying mental health disorders. So bringing in that information will help your OB-GYN to distinguish between the two and further refer you to a psychiatrist if needed.
And gentlemen that are listening, if I may interject a word to the wise here. You've been with your wife, that's your loving spouse. You should know her. You should know when she's hurting. You should know when something is up with her. That's not the time to sit in the backyard in your favorite chair drinking a beer.
Right.
That's the time to belly on up and help out and do what you can.
Very well said, Dr. Ordon.
And not just hang your hat on, oh, it's that time of the month, leave her alone. She'll work it out. That is not the way to address it. How'd you like them apples?
I like those apples quite well.
And that's why you've been married for over 36 years?
Yes.
And I would just, as we close out this segment, I would just add that you can sit around and argue semantics, but ultimately medicine, it's all about the individual experience. Yes. And I think having a conversation, a good relationship with your obstetrician gynecologist, so you can figure out what in your particular scenario, what the best treatment is, what the particular diagnosis. Really appreciate the work that you're doing, Dr. Sodhi. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you so much.